Before we begin our ceremony today, we would appreciate if you can keep your phone into silent mode and please be seated and fill up the front seat first. We will also remind to all audience to comply with the standard operating procedure during the ceremony. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our Honorable Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, President of International Islamic University Malaysia, Professor Dr. Ahmad Hafiz dan Zulkifli, Deputy Director Responsible Research and Innovation, Professor Dr. Kamruzaman bin Yunus, Campus Director of IIUM Kuantan Campus, Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Saufi Awang, Hospital Director of Sultan Ahmad Shah Medical Center at IIUM, Professor Dr. Zamzuri Zakaria, Director Clinical, Madam Zuraida Hassan, Director Administration, Dr. Siti Zainab Tauhid, Senior Deputy Director, Strategy and Corporate Affairs, Professor Dr. Aminuddin J. Ahmad, Head Department of Sharia Compliance, all deans, directors, deputy directors, head of department, specialists, medical officers, matrons, sisters, and all staff. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin our ceremony with the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we would like to invite Brother Muhammad Afdal bin Abdul Hamid from Information Technology Department to lead the dua recitation. Please welcome.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي وفقنا لطاعته وهدانا لعبادته وخصنا برسالة حبيبه ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه صلاة وسلاما دائمين متلازمين إلى يوم الدين. Allahumma ya dzal jalali wal ikram, segala puji dan kesyukuran dipersembahkan ke hadratmu ya Allah, di atas segala limpah rahmah perlindungan kepada kami sekalian dengan aman tenteram, sihat wal afiat dan selamat sejahtera. Kami memohon kepadamu ya Allah, semoga diperkukuhkan perpaduan, dipereratkan persaudaraan dan diperkuatkan keazaman, hasrat dan cita-cita agar sentiasa mendapat keredaan-Mu ya Allah. Allahumma ya dzal manni wal ihsan. Kami juga memohon kasih sayang-Mu ya Allah, agar jiwa dan kehidupan kami berada dalam aman di dunia, agar kami dapat mengimarahkan bumi seperti yang Engkau perintahkan. Maka daripada Engkau-lah sahaja ya Allah, kami memohon akan segala bantuan dan pertolongan. Allahumma ya malikat dunia wal akhirah, berkatilah negara Malaysia, khususnya warga kerja Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia, dan rahmatilah di bawah perlindungan-Mu sekalian yang bersangkutan dengannya. Semoga mendapat petunjuk daripada-Mu ke jalan yang Engkau redai, serta dengan penuh kehormatan dan kesucian, di samping meninggikan syiar-Mu dalam semua bidang. Allahumma ya maliki yaumiddin, peliharakanlah kami dan negara kami daripada segala bala bencana. Jauhkanlah kami sekalian daripada segala ancaman dan pengkhianatan. Bersihkanlah negara kami dari segala anasir jahat. Pandulah kami semua ke jalan yang benar, adil dan saksama dalam melaksanakan tanggungjawab yang diamanahkan. Kekalkanlah ya Allah kebenaran, keadilan, perpaduan, ketenteraman dan kemakmuran dalam negara bertuah ini. اللهم بك نستعين وعليك نتوكل وأنت رب العرش العظيم ارحمنا يا ربنا فإنك أنت أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, 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 Ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Brother Muhammad Afdal, for the beautiful dua. May our event today run smoothly and be blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. My name is Wan Shafi Ashraf from Department of Sharia and Compliance, and I will be your MC for today's event. The purpose of our event today is to gather and to get some sharing from our President of IIUM on his special talk with the topic of spirituality framework in healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our Honorable President to the stage, let me introduce briefly on Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar. Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar has been appointed as the 8th President of the International Islamic University Malaysia, effective from 1st July 2019 until 30th June 2022. He is also founder and executive chairman of Amani Group. He has recently been appointed as the chairman of the Federal Territories Islamic Religious Council, effective from 50th February 2021. He also served as the chairman of the Sharia Advisory Council, SAC, of the Astana International Financial Center, AIFC, Kazakhstan, and at the Central Bank of Malaysia, the Security Commission of Malaysia, the Labuan Financial Service Authority, the first Abu Dhabi Bank, and Permodalan Nasional Berhad. Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar is also a Sharia board member of various global financial institutions, including the National Bank of Oman, Amundi Asset Management Funds, Bank of London, and Middle East, amongst many others. Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar received the Award of Excellence for Outstanding Contribution for Sharia Leadership and Advisory at London Sukuk Summit Awards and Sharia Advisor Award at the Asset Triple Islamic Finance Award. In 2014, he received the Most Outstanding Individual Award by His Majesty, the King of Malaysia, in conjunction with the national level Prophet Muhammad's birthday. In November 2021, he was conferred Darjah Kebesaran Panglima Sedia Mahkota, PSM, which carries the title Tan Sri by His Majesty Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Al-Musta'in Billah. Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar received and obtained his PhD from University of St. Andrews, United Kingdom in 1993. His first book, entitled Sharia Minds in Islamic Finance, an Inside Story of a Sharia Scholar, has won the Islamic Finance Book of the Year 2016 by the Global Islamic Finance Awards, GIFA 2016. Then, his book on Sukuk, entitled An Insightful Journey to Emirates Airlines Sukuk, Pushing the Boundaries of Islamic Finance, has also won the Best Islamic Finance Case 2017 by the GIFA 2017 in Kazakhstan. His latest books include Sharia is Life, I Have 25 Hours a Day, Duha, Cahaya Pagi yang Terang, Kembara Ilmu dari Sungai Korok ke St. Andrew, and many more. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to respectfully invite the President of International Islamic University Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, to the stage for his special talk on topic Spirituality Framework in Healthcare, and followed by question and answers session. Please welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. Thank you, Brother MC, respected Professor Hafiz, Professor Abdul Zaman, and Professor Dato' Sophie, senior managers and directors, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Puji-pujian hanya diuntukkan kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala, salam salawat hanya diuntukkan kepada junjungan besar Nabi Muhammad, suri teladan sepanjang jalan dan sepanjang zaman. First and foremost, I feel humble and honored to be invited to come to this event here in Kuantan to talk to the each and every important organs of the CESMEC, the hospital of the university. And somehow I regretted very much because I accepted the invitation because the topic was given to me was not as planned. I was asked to talk on something which is very difficult. I was making the comment to Prof just now that I will try my best to make the topic relatable to you. And this is most challenging part. We can talk on anything, but to make the topic very much interpersonalized and very much intimate and relatable to someone is the most challenging part of any lecture on this planet. But having said that, I would like to welcome everyone, particularly our viewers using the YouTube channel. I would like to, express my gratitude how proud am I to be surrounded by these great men and women in this great hall, serving the community at large, serving the health line sector, which is one of the most challenging sector as we speak nowadays. Surely you have shown your leadership in many respects, and the topic today is not to undermine your contribution, neither to challenge your contribution, but perhaps to reinforce and to stimulate further the need to bring the spirituality dimension in your healthcare services and activities. Because why it is difficult? Because spirituality is not seen, it's not visible, it's not tangible enough. And talking about something which is not seen and tangible will require a lot of imagination, a lot of interaction internally, so that you are able to put your hand on your heart to say that I understand the topic and I can make myself connected or interconnected to that team. And this is not easy, as I mentioned just now, but nevertheless, I'm given the opportunity to challenge my own understanding of spirituality. We know it and we feel it, and we are very much embedded or equipped with that kind of quality, but sometimes we don't know how to describe it. And in the next half an hour or so, I will try my best to describe it. And if you are not able to understand it, perhaps we can do it second time. Again. Anyhow, Alhamdulillah, Allah the Creator has created us fi ahsan taqweem, in the best formulation of coding. And that formulation consists of both software and the hardware of human creation. The hardware is your expertise, the organs, the nervous system, the tissues of bodies and what have you. But the software, something intangible, is much important than the hardware of a human being. Not only for you, but also for the patient. Sometimes the moment you trigger the element of spirituality, perhaps the healing process will be faster. The more we are able to make the spirituality of our patient trigger or perhaps invoke, then the readiness and the whole process of becoming, healed and cured will be, I would argue, will be very much relatively easier and faster. Alhamdulillah, in the context of Islam, healthcare, from my perspective, is very much the very fundamental of Maqasid al-Sharia. Meaning to say, saving the life is okay. In other words, we know that in Maqasid Sharia, we need to protect 5 things, 5 vertical: Hifzul Deen, Hifzul Nafas, Hifzul Aqal, Hifzul Mal, and Hifzul Nasab. We have to protect the religion, the life, the intelligence, the programming, and the wealth of the community. When we dissect these 5 verticals and talking about protection of life, of course, the healthcare will be on the top as we speak in modern time. In the old time, healthcare is important but not important. In the old time, we have to avoid any war, any conflict, because people died very much in the war in the past. And that's why Quran talk about peace, about calling people to avoid war at any cost. But somehow that was over by now. But nowadays, due to the lifestyle of people and many other, variable in life, people die more often from the illness rather than from the accident and the war and what have you. You take the example of COVID, and you will know that the ratio of deaths caused by health-related causes is much more than the other causes of death. So, and I am very much intrigued by a very one verse in the Quran, which everyone would know, and we should know. This is the very basis of your profession. This is the very basis of profession to help save the life of human being. It is in Al-Ma'idah 32. The Quran reads, من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل إنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا. The translation goes, on account of his deed, the deed of one of the sons of Adam, when he somehow was succumbed to have killed his own brother, for that matter. On account of his deed, we decreed to the children of Israel that if anyone kills a person, unless in retribution for murder or spreading corruption in the land, it is as if he killed all mankind. This is not relevant to you. The next one will be relevant to you. While if any save a life, it is as if he saved the life of all mankind. So the very word of the Quran, وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. Whoever is able to save the life of one person, as if he is rewarded to the extent of saving the life of everyone on this planet. We know that how the murder would take place. We take the life of a person easy. What? Only one form of taking the life of a person by committing a murder, either in one way or another. But the word waman ahyaha, those who are giving the direct translation, ahyaha, those who give life to one person. But the tafsir, as you know, has given different translation, those who save. But in the Quranic translation, the literal meaning, waman ahyaha, those who can give life to person, as if he saved the life of all the mankind. And not many scholars, even in current time, has given the very definition of the manifestation of saving the life of one person. Why it is so? Because the spirituality aspect of the scholars, even not to mention the medical professional, the medical practitioners, we are not tuned to give the right dosage of the Quranic words that we have read. If you were to ponder, constructively or objectively, this lake of the one verse of the Quran has given a very strong message to everyone that we cannot kill other people, not good enough. We need to build another lake of civilization to provide facilities, to provide infrastructure, to provide avenues of saving the life of people. And this is the very foundation of life in Islam, in this particular verse. So you are in the business of saving the life, from a very small advice all the way to the theater and the surgical activities which are done by the surgeon in the theater room from that perspective. Alhamdulillah, we are very fortunate to have been given this verse for us to internalize. I am in the position of saving the life of people. If I can save one life, as if I'm saving the life of everyone on this planet. And this is the reward that you are given compared to the other practitioners in other field of life. So this is the first preamble of my talk this afternoon. The second one, saving the life is not that easy. It is most challenging thing to do because it requires the whole ecosystem. Because to prevent death, you have to look into the pollution, transportation, the ambulances, the equipment, the talent, and even the speed response to any 998 call. I was telling some of the professors just now, I am in the big data industry. So we have done in Malaysia 10 years ago the data on the ambulances services, not mention about emergency, we talk about later, might be sensitive to you. We have the data on the emergency services in Malaysia, but on the ambulances, we have checked, and the data shows the response time was so bad compared to the other part of the world. And the ratio of ambulances, cars to the population is one of the lowest on this planet. So when we talk about saving the life, it's not about the last mile, but the whole process of saving the life. If the transportation got stuck in the traffic jam, or perhaps the ambulance cars are not equipped with the talent and the equipment, people will die at the end of the day. In other part of the world, ambulance cars are just a transporter with a siren on the top of the roof. This is not the meaning of saving the life. So the more we go, the more we can see that saving the life requires the whole ecosystem. No need for me to further the discussion because you will be able to put your own imagination. Saving the life is a God imperative order and injunction. But how to do it? It is not that easy and straightforward. We need to put all the requirements of saving the life of a person. The third preamble, basically, this is the problem of scholars, people like me and the other ustaz and the imam and whatnot. when the Sharia talk about hifzul nafas, to protect the life of person who is being one of the maqasid of Sharia, the word an-nafas has been translated to protecting and saving the life, the soul, the last breath of a person, so to speak. But for me, it's not about that. An-nafas in this Quranic, this Sharia term does not mean the last breath of a person. It means the whole entire quality of life, of having drinkable and affordable water, the quality of air, the quality of living, the quality of working environment, because this is part and parcel of life. So hifzul an-nafas should be translated into the protection of life, not referring to the last breath, but referring to the way we can live, happily and up to the standard of the good quality of life. Once we are able to do that, then we can relate ourselves to the whole divine order to create a sustainable, a happy, prosperous, a very convincing, a very good quality of life, and that includes the protection and the promotion of life with regard to proper medication, proper infrastructure, proper response time, proper data on the death, the reason of the death and the cause of the death, and so on and so forth. So after going through these three verticals, allow me to move now to the main topic of our discussion. Why do we need spirituality in our healthcare industry? There are many reasons. I'm not here to, I don't claim I know all the reasons, but let me share with you some of the reasons and insights which I thought could be relevant. Why do we need spirituality in our line of service? I would argue, which I have given some small tazkirah in the mosque just now, the moment we talk about spirituality, we have to start from somewhere. We need to create the base of thinking and mindset. And the first ever, or the most important element of having spirituality is about being able to be sincere, the power of sincerity. We cannot be talking about spirituality where we cannot bring to the center of the stage the quality of our sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we were to work hard in your line of service, but we are not able to bring forth the element of sincerity in tangible manner, I don't think we can bring in the other element of sincerity, of spirituality. We're going to feel miserably. So that's why the ability to be sincere, honest, transparent with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the first step to move forward. If you don't feel that you have that quality of attribute, we need to do a lot more in terms of bringing the spirituality element in your healthcare industry. However, if you are blessed with a good quality of sincerity, you are doing that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, before you come to work, you wake up in the morning, or you end your daytime at night by having the sincerity element that I'm going to give the best in my line of service. I think you are very much in the beginning of the journey to make yourself full of sincerity. What's next? The moment you have the sincerity, I have seen that among many other great scholars, they can produce new ideas, new ways of doing things, new perspective. Sincerity is not about religious affair. Sincerity is about connecting your intention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by doing that, the sincerity will create innovation, creativity, a new insight, new idea, and new dreams in your lifetime. And this is something missing in our society because perhaps we are not sincere enough. That's why we are half-hearted in our work. We are not whole-hearted, and we are not focused, and we are not up to the mark. We are below the watermark, and that's why we cannot perform. Not because we don't have enough knowledge. Perhaps we are good professors, we are good surgeons, we are good nurses, we are good medical officers, but the quality of sincerity might be compromised. And this is the first thing to do. Innamal a'malu binniyat. And this hadith is not about I'm going to pray Zuhur or Asar. We put the niyat. Well, this is the simplest meaning of the hadith. The hadith is so powerful. It is not about innamal a'malu binniyat, sah tak sah kena niyat. Itu yang paling basic. No. The hadith means for each and every deed of Bani Adam, it is essentially motivated and pushed by the real intention. This is for me the better meaning of this hadith, rather than just prescribing what is halal, what is haram, and whether this is valid, not valid, which is quite common in our understanding. So take note, the spirituality needs sincerity, and sincerity will push the other dimension of high performance in your service. In other words, make it simple. The more you are sincere, the more you can perform better. The more you are sincere, the more you are tulus and telus, the more you can be a high performer in whatever you do or plan to do. The second element, why do we need spirituality? From my perspective, brothers and sisters, is to create the intimate connection with the Creator. And this is very important. Without having the intimate relation or connection or link or sync with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are always detached from His blessing, from His guidance, from His unlimited opportunities which are given to His servant who is looking or who are looking for His blessing all the time. On this point, I am intrigued to quote a very important verse which are very familiar to all of you. Surely in your family day, in your orientation, you have been given and quoted this ayah. Surah Ash-Shu'ara, about the healing process. الذي خلقني فهو يهدين والذي يطعمني ويسقين وإذا مرضت فهو يشفين. Everyone knows about this ayah. The dialogue between the Prophet Ibrahim with the Namrud during his time. And the way Ibrahim or Prophet Ibrahim was describing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this three segment of narrative has been very interesting and mind-boggling from my perspective. He who created me is He who guides me. Interestingly, creation and guidance come together. That's why in our spirituality, we need to acknowledge the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He created me. He is also the guidance provider. And this is the meaning of spirituality. Ibrahim alayhi salam was on top of that. He recognized and he admitted and he lived with that, the meaning of guidance from the Creator. Okay? The moment you look into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're aware of Him, you have to always bring into your perspective guidance is not from you, not from your professor, not from textbook, not from SOP. Yes, they are very important, but the guidance must be sought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will give me food and drink. Again, the ecosystem. This ayah is about ecosystem. Human needs food and drink. In many ayah of the Quran talk about the Prophet Muhammad. He goes to the market and he drink and he eats. Again, to reflect to the community, we cannot afford but to talk about the survival mood of people, food and drink. الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. Again, two vertical of life. The Quran is so huge, so powerful, talking about food and drink. How can? It is possible because the Quran would like to print clearly in the mind of the people and the community that food and drinks are very much important for the survival of life. People die if they don't eat and drink, as simple as that. People die if they don't have quality or perhaps sufficient food and they cannot drink drinkable water or clean water for that matter. And the last segment, وَإِذَا مَرَضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. He who cures me when I am ill. Again, this is how the intimate relationship between Prophet Ibrahim and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In our case, of course, we are great surgeon, we are great doctor, we are great orthopedic, we are great. Look, I'm not going to anyone, okay? Great scholar, no. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is the most powerful healer in the on this planet. So that intimate relationship must be implanted in our mind. We are working with sincerity, we are working with intimate relationship, we are seeking the guidance from Him, and we acknowledge that the real healer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty. The third aspect, many aspects of the healthcare research and discoveries and whatnot are still unlocked, are still not being exposed or perhaps not being researched on. And that's why we need to bring the element of ignorance, that we seek the guidance from Allah, we seek the knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is another ayah which I have the pleasure to quote to you. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ يُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. You need to be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cautious about Him, the Almighty, so that He will guide you, He will teach you. Whenever you walk into theater, operation theater, or even to your class, even to your clinics, always seek the taqwa from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be cautious all the time. The word taqwa cannot be translated that easily, like spirituality cannot be described easily. But the best translation for me, wattaqullaha, the meaning of taqwa is to be mindful of Him. If you can be mindful, good enough already. Be mindful. Remember to be mindful of Him all the time. Whenever you walk, you talk, even you are silent, you are taking the silent position, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What more in your healthcare line, be mindful of Him all the time. And for that, we need the divine intervention. We are not able to find out the other dimension of knowledge, which are not yet revealed to us. We need to do more research. For that matter, we need to be mindful of Him, cautious about Him, and inshallah will teach us and give us and unlock the knowledge that we need to do to save the life of people. And of course, last but not least, life in our belief is always in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we mentioned the ayah. So we need to really make recourse to Him, seek the assistance from Him, and this is the very meaning of spirituality as far as I am concerned. The last segment of my presentation What is the impact of higher spirituality? Assuming that we are very much guided, blessed, and inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the servant of Him in our line of service, healthcare service. We are very much aware and mindful, and we are very much spiritually motivated all the time to become the best performer in this line of service. From my perspective, there could be some impact on us. One of them would be we can see the highest level of performance and perseverance among the medical officers. In fact, allow me to say this, and my apology for saying this. We have not seen yet the crisis in the real sense of crisis management in this country. Whereas we have seen that in many parts of the world, in the case of Iraq, in the case of Palestine, and whatnot. So the level of perseverance, the level of performance, yes, we were tested through the COVID, but compare this case with some of the cases happening around the globe, around the world, I think we need to be more prepared to become more, to be able to persevere and to be able to be cautious and to be able to be all the time alert and aware of our duty towards saving the life of people. But with this high level of spirituality, we can perform better. We can achieve highest level of performance and persevering. And we can change the mindset and attitude of our people, our community, your own patient coming to you. If you have that sense of spirituality, it transcends out to your patient. People look at your face, at your narrative, at your words and vocabulary. They are healed before you prescribe the medicine to them. This is perhaps the most powerful, element of having the real, the pure, and the highest level of spirituality, because it will transcend to the frequency of the mindset and the attitude of your own patient in the clinic or in other relevant places. I would like to believe, my second last point, that the doctors, nurses, and medical officers, they are much more influential than the preachers and the scholars and the ustad. Because people come to you because they got problems. And this is the moment for all of you to be influencing, to be putting the right narrative, the right message to them. And this is the best moment that you are given to influence on the other counterparties. I would like to believe, I went to see my doctor a few times. When I saw my doctor, I felt that he is everything in my life. So this is something, every word coming from his mouth is something that I wanted to hear, I wanted to listen, I wanted to relate myself to his advice. And this is the best moment you have. People don't go to the scholars to admit their mistake or to be a better person. But when they come to doctors and have nurses helping them day in, day out, at the odd hours, difficult situation, this is the moment that you can be a great influencer. And the last but not least, you are in the industry of humanity. You are very much, directly involved in the industry of humanity. You develop and you create the humanity more than any other person, like engineers. They are not developing humanity, they are developing brick and mortar, for the building and facade and infrastructure. But you are one of the few jobs on this planet that healthcare is very much about building the industry of humanity. Humanity comes from you, it works around you, and you become the focal point of humanity in one way or another. I think with that, few points I managed to put on record. I would like to thank everyone for your kind listening. I hope these few points would stimulate your new mindset to be more spiritually motivated, to be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be mindful of your actual profession to create the new environment of humanity, a better environment for humanity. With that, I would like to thank for this opportunity. Let us open the floor for any question and answer, provided they are easy one. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, for your truthful and interesting talk. Ladies and gentlemen, now I open the floor to all audience for a questions and answer session.
Thank you, Tan Sri. My name is Aminuddin. It's not a question. I think it's the things that you brought up actually is really eye-opening and inspiring in terms of spirituality. Because we also have this is a difficulty in defining the spirituality, that to see what is the scope of spirituality that we are going to have specifically in our hospital and in general in our community. How we are going to contribute to this kind of the depth. What I can maybe ask you is in any way, because a part of the spirituality in our daily activities is spiritual care for patients, in which we are in the way of training our staff to be capable of handling the spiritual care support for the patient. Okay, in your opinion, how the things is, maybe you have any experience, or because I read one of your articles in the newspaper regarding this spiritual care work in outside Indonesia. So maybe need your bit of your comment.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Basically, spirituality cannot be diagnosed, it cannot be put in SOP. But if you can translate spirituality into SOP, it will be fantastic, it will be amazing. I think I was in Korea visiting Baba's Hospital, and Baba's Hospital is one of the top 3 or 4 in the world, looking after the old folks before they funded by the government through insurance. I was given the opportunity to meet the founder, top 3 few of the founder and top management. Of course, they need financing from me. That's why I was there about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. So after meeting the management, I was given the tour to the hospital, and they brought me to the daycare. They call daycare. People come and go, not the full-time old folks who decided to live and die over there. Of course, they have the service from everything: cinema, swimming pool, and education. And when they die, they are going to be looked after by the respective religious procedure. Put that aside. So I went to the daycare segment. Everyone coming to the main entrance to be treated, physiotherapy and even counseling, even to talk to someone. They need someone to talk to. The fact that when someone comes to the main entrance at the lobby, at the ground floor, they were given like a flower to them. I mean, immediately this is your flower, and they were brought and they were talking nicely. And I was observing the script they are talking is not from them. It's a SOP already, based on the data, what the old folk wanted to hear based on the data. I said, well, who drafted the script? He said, not from us, from the data that we have collected. This is the word they like to listen from the medical officer as they walk about 3 to 5 minutes to the gym and whatever to do some. And that is the first moment to boost their confidence. So this is spirituality. Yes, might be, but this is the way you define spirituality. For me, for Korean, this is the heart of spirituality, to be kind to the old people. In fact, Korea, as you know, I think the only country in the world that respect old people like no other business. Even the CEO with the driver, they will bow to the driver as long as the driver is older to them. And so the culture of being kind to the old people is very much obvious. What more if old people are having some medical problems that need attention? So the more we travel around, the more we look into the people, we're talking about humanity. We need to understand, yes, they are your patient coming to you, but before that, they are people. They are human. They have the feeling and emotion. So if you can group among yourself, lock yourself in one room and try to create, surely you have that already. I just put in my own assumption. We need to SOPize the specialties. In better word, we need to SOPize the spirituality element that you need relevant in your case. Of course, surgeon different from doctors, doctor different from medical officer, but everyone must have the SOP. Do that repeatedly, over and over and over. You can see the impact among your community, inshallah. Thank you very much, Prof.
Assalamualaikum, Kasri. I've been working with hospital, government hospital, and also suspect. And I find that suspect is the difficulty is the costing, basically. How we can develop a sustainable and mechanism so that everybody can come to suspect like as well. Even though they need to pay, but everybody can apply. So everybody tends to go for it. Whereas suspect, cannot do it because we have to pay. So maybe how can we develop a sustainable paid selectors?
Yeah. Surely this is a difficult question. I'm not invited to answer this question. We put aside a joke, Doctor. Thank you very much. This is our struggle basically between the bottom line, to sustain the cost, every one of you, and service to the people. Government, they have the budgeted grant, so everything is presented and endorsed in the parliament. So they have the budget for that. For our hospital, we need to put the cost for each and every workers working here and every square meter of building, carpet, electricity, and whatnot, as simple as that. So how do we complement that kind of inefficiency in terms of inclusiveness? Okay? We are not inclusive for that matter. Perhaps the management of the hospital need to be creative enough to create some new source of funding, some zakat or wakaf, and perhaps to look into from in my own world, it's insurance, because if you can create your own captive insurance, because captive, you can underwrite, everyone coming to your hospital can be covered by the insurance, but you can reinsure back to the other bigger reinsurance company, which I'm trying to do at Mohd level. In Raffles Ketuan, we have 30,000 asnaf, not to mention their family members. I think the simple mathematics would lead to about 100 to 200,000 kind of vulnerable people who needs protection from health and education. Perhaps I can insure them 100% by having the captive takaful, they call it. Captive takaful is very powerful term, but not everyone is aware. Even our own university, They can do captive, but they don't. Petronas, they have their own captive.
Yeah.
Big company, they have their own captive. Why can't we have our own captive? And that will also include our patient coming to our hospital. I'm just opening the mind a bit. It can be done. In fact, for the whole nation of Malaysia, we can do captive as well. This is beyond our discussion, but I've seen the proposal from the overseas consultant. We can provide insurance for each and every Malaysian. We need to see the budget information coming from the bigger insurance of the world outside there. Of course, we need to protect the data and whatever. This is something else, but it can be done. So this is one aspect. The second issue of managing the cost of the hospital, we need to create a smart partnership with the NGO and whatnot. Again, I'm giving example of Mohd because I'm chairman of Mohd in Wilayah Persekutuan. We like the idea of one-to-one kind of relationship. We put $1, PPTM put $1. We put $1, PNB put $1. So we create the new ecosystem to help our asnaf in the Persekutuan. It worked well, alhamdulillah. Because this big organization, they wanted to help and they wanted to be part of your system, but you have to put some commitment as well. So the one-to-one matching scheme works. Alhamdulillah, we have PNB, we have Daud now, we have inshallah PTPTN, Mara, Yayasan Mara, and I'm going to connect again ecosystem, connect all the GLC to Mohd. Of course, Mohd has the privilege. Surely you are a namanya harum. So you have to leverage on the very good name of this university, and we can do a lot more. But put the task force and try to do it. You can cover certain costs, the rest perhaps you can transfer the cost to the third party, and you can take everyone coming to the hospital. And by doing that, you are very much inclusive. Dream big. It's not immediate solution, but if you don't dream, there's no result. Dream first. When you dream, then inshallah I will give you wattaqullaha yu'allimukumullah. Be mindful of him. He will teach you the solution, the way out. Okay, thank you.
There is one question from YouTube Live
Yes.
for our viewers. Came from Brother Muhammad Khairullah bin Zulkafli. The question is, with regard to the result of being sincere and having good spiritual in our respective lines of service, we don't normally expect for recognition nor appreciation. But more often than not, the result is not seen or not felt. So how do we convince ourselves that we are already doing fine, that we are already on the right track? Any tips from Tanzania?
Yeah, okay. Being a sincere person does not mean there's no need for you to ask and demand for recognition. I believe in that idea that be a good guy, be a sincere guy, work hard, but show and demand from your management, I'm doing my level best. I'm better than my other colleague. I can do 3 jobs, 4 jobs instead of 1 job for my co-workers. And this is something, the new culture I'm bringing in my own organization. Work hard, be sincere, but demand higher. Demand is not demanding all the time, but show in your end of the year performance, you have done the following things in your career. And that is something, our culture somehow is not that accommodative. When you ask more, it's about don't ask, be ikhlas. I mean, we misuse the word ikhlas. We misuse the word ikhlas. In the Quran, Al-Isra again, وَقُلْ يَعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. All you who believe, work. Perhaps work hard so that Allah and His Prophet and the community of Muslims will appreciate your work. By right, it's only Allah and Rasul will appreciate, is that right? But in the Quran, Allah mentioned about human will appreciate your work. So there's no harm in any organization. In fact, in my own company, I ask them to list down at the end of the year what you have done best. We have not done that culture. Our culture is very much Eastern but can be manipulated by some people. We have to be open, be sincere, be hardworking, but ask for your rights. And this is the management got to be a bit open management and try to put the right question to test whether that guy is really working hard. Even if not sincere, he is working hard, reward him. Is that right? Even if someone is not sincere, that is between him and Allah. But as human, employee, he has achieved all the key performance indicators for KPI, right? The very jargon word KPI, but very much it's a performance metrics. If he has performed better than the other guy, give him the reward. In the corporate sector, I was the board member of some the ranking of every staff. Let's say we have 1,000. Is very much personalized. Not just this one 4 or 5, 6 or 10. No, you have to give 6.08 very precise based on the ranking and the metrics. This is to be fair with the staff. The moment we have a general assessment, we are not fair already. The moment we have a general assessment ranking, we are not fair already from day one, because we lump everyone in one group, right? And that is not right. The good Boston group and the good human resource consultant of the world, they started moving toward this kind of personalized ranking. Of course, using data can help you a lot. And this is something I wanted to stress. When you work hard and with sincerity, you have the right to demand it. If you work hard without sincerity, you have the right to demand too. Because it's your job. Sincerity between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have to tolerate those who are not sincere, because there is something between him and God. But as the contract goes, we need to reward and honor and recognize high performers in our community. And those who are not performing, don't punish them. In a big organization, we don't punish. We give them 1 month off. We send them to training. In our case, you don't perform, cold storage. Send to whatever, Kuantan from Gobak campus. So, no one from Gobak, eh? So this is the culture of our society. Don't perform, off you go. I don't want to see your face anymore. In the corporate group, I have been reading a human resource book. It's wrong. When someone is not performing, not because he's not performing, he needs more encouragement. Give him 3 days hotel and feed the family. When they come back, ask them to go to training. Give them motivation first. This is the new way of Sharia compliant human resource. Not to punish, but to motivate. Give them the opportunity. So I can talk about human resource management in another lecture, because I have been put in many NRC committee of the GRC, the nomination and remuneration committee. So we have gone through every detail of the stuff for either promotion or demotion. We don't take decision lightly. The future of our staff. But we rarely punish people. But we motivate them to perform better. If they cannot perform, we give them the option. But before we come to that decision, give them the opportunity to become a better and high performer guy. Thank you. Okay. I hope that answered our brother's question just now.
Thank you to Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar for your time in answering the question. Very good sharing from you will be a good knowledge and input to all audience today. To yang berbahagia Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, please remain on the stage for a token of appreciation giving session. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ahmad Hafiz bin Zulkifli, Deputy Director, Responsible Research and Innovation, to the stage, accompanied by Professor Dr. Muhammad Saufi Awam, Hospital Director of Sultan Ahmad Shah Medical Center at IIUM, to give a token of appreciation to our President of IIUM.
So you are sincere, you got reward. Terima kasih. Pegang juga.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, Professor Dr. Ahmad Hafiz, and Professor Dr. Safi Awang. With that, we have come to the end of our session today. We would like to express our sincere gratitude and special thanks to everyone who are involved directly and indirectly in making this program a success, especially to Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar. Before we end our event today, due to current situation, please remain to adhere the SOP provided by our government. With that, we end our event today with Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul Asr. I would like to invite all audience together with all the VIPs for a photography session. Inshallah, our photographer, Brother Bud, will lead the photo session. To all audience,
Kalau ini kena ke tengah sikit, yang sini kena ke sini, tak dapat habis. Yang belakang. Yang belakang. Depan dapat, yang belakang tak dapat. Ke sini sikit. Ke tengah sikit. Okey, satu. Okey, boleh. Dia dekat tangga tu boleh.
I think take one question each, then another question. Boleh. Okay. Okay. Combine. Okay. Stop. Ready. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Photographer, let me sit over there. Boleh. Kasih I can see individual. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It was the first. Betul.